It's been a year, and my husband still keeps his distance. My name is Rachel Monroe, and for the past 12 months, I've lived in a marriage that feels more like a distant partnership than a loving union. I used to count the days between kisses, touches, and meaningful conversations. Now I don't bother counting. There's nothing to count. Ethan, my husband, used to be affectionate and warm. We met in college. He was charming, spontaneous, and made me laugh until my stomach hurt. I loved his confidence, and the way he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. We married young, full of dreams and promises. For the first 5 years, life was wonderful. We traveled, built careers, and supported each other. But then something changed. At first, I thought it was stress from work. Ethan had just been promoted to a senior position at a tech firm, and the hours were brutal. Late nights became common. Weekends turned into more work hours, and slowly, the man I married began to fade. I tried to be patient. I tried to understand. I cooked his favorite meals, planned little surprises, and even suggested couples therapy. He always smiled politely and said, "I'm just tired, Rachel. This will pass." But it didn't pass. He stopped looking at me the way he used to. There were no date nights, no cuddles on the couch, no whispered I love yous. I felt like a ghost in my own home, floating around hoping to be seen, to be touched, to be wanted. I started blaming myself. Maybe I wasn't attractive enough anymore. Maybe I had said something wrong. I changed my hair, lost weight, bought new clothes, but nothing made a difference. Then I met Cole. Cole Thompson was a new hire at the interior design firm where I worked. He was tall, kind-eyed, and easy to talk to. He complimented my ideas, respected my designs, and always made me laugh during lunch breaks. At first, it was innocent, just friendly conversation between colleagues. But then he began to notice the sadness I tried so hard to hide. "You okay?" he asked one afternoon as we worked on a proposal. "You've been a little off lately." I hesitated. "Just some stuff at home. It's nothing." Cole didn't push. He simply nodded and said, "If you ever want to talk, I'm a good listener." Weeks passed, and my emotional loneliness only deepened. One rainy evening, after staying late at the office, Cole offered me a ride home. Ethan hadn't answered any of my texts, and the thought of going home to another night of silence made my chest tighten. I accepted. On the drive, we talked about music, books, and life. He shared stories about his divorce, how hard it was to feel unloved in your own home. His words struck a chord in me. We arrived outside my house, but I didn't want to leave the warmth of his presence. "Do you want to come in for a bit?" "Just coffee," I said quickly. He hesitated, then nodded. "Just coffee." We sat on the couch, sipping from mismatched mugs and talking about everything and nothing. At some point, the silence between us grew heavy, charged. He looked at me, not like a colleague, not like a friend, but like a man seeing a woman he truly desired. And I let him kiss me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't revenge. It was desperation. It was hunger. It was the ache of being unseen, untouchable, and unloved for too long. That night, I crossed a line, and I couldn't take it back. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. Cole had gone. He left a note that simply read, "You deserve more." I stared at it for a long time, wondering what more even meant. I couldn't look at Ethan the same way anymore. In the weeks that followed, I avoided Cole at work. The guilt gnawed at me, but so did the memory of being wanted. Ethan didn't notice the change in me. He was still lost in his world of deadlines and emails. One night, as he sat typing away, I finally asked him, "Ethan, do you even love me anymore?" He looked up, confused. "Of course I do. Why would you ask that?" I shook my head. "You haven't touched me in a year. We haven't made love, kissed, held hands. You don't even look at me." He sighed, rubbing his eyes. "I didn't realize it had been that long. I'm sorry. Work has just been." "I know. Work. But what about me? What about us?" He didn't have an answer. That night I slept in the guest room. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. I realized I had been waiting for something that might never return. The love we had, the intimacy, it was gone. And I had already betrayed him in my heart before I ever did physically. I eventually confessed. I told Ethan everything. I expected him to scream, to leave, to call me names. But he just sat there, stunned. Did he mean something to you? He asked. No. Not really. He was someone who saw me. That's all. Ethan nodded slowly. I guess we both lost each other along the way. We decided on counseling, not to fix our marriage, but to understand if it could be saved. I didn't want to live in lies, and neither did he. It was painful, raw, and full of tears. But it was honest. Today we're still in therapy. Some days are better than others. We're trying to rebuild trust, to learn each other again. There are no guarantees, but there is effort. Infidelity doesn't always come from lust. Sometimes it comes from loneliness, from silence, from years of emotional starvation. That doesn't excuse it, but it explains it. If nothing else, I've learned that love cannot survive in a vacuum. It needs attention, warmth, presence. And if we can't give that to each other, then maybe it's time to let go with grace rather than hold on in pain.